We're hitting a lot of milestones this episode. The final game of 1986. Almost half of the episodes I've done have been 1986 games, so that feels like a big transition. This episode also marks the exact halfway point of the year. I've been doing this for a full 6 months daily and haven't missed an episode yet. Honestly, that's better than I thought I'd do. And I don't see any signs of slowing up. My buffer is still pretty deep as I record this in early May. In fact, between the point that I record this and the time that I edit this episode, I'm taking a week's vacation. So no sign of burnout yet. I've also just moved on to my third bin for Famicom games. That's not really an accurate measurement of progress since my boxed games aren't stored in those bins, and there's some that are doubled up due to alternate versions. But it still feels like a lot of forward momentum. That's a lot of preamble. Let's get to the game itself. Arkanoid is one of the all-time classic arcade games. It's built on the same bones as Atari's Breakout, but vastly expands it by adding a multitude of stage designs, power-ups, and enemies. But even with all of that, the game is still very simple. Destroy all the blocks on the screen by knocking the ball into them. If the ball goes off the bottom of the screen, you lose a life, so you use the paddle to keep it going. Bringing it to the Famicom posed a challenge, though. Arkanoid is dependent upon an analog control, a dial. It gives the player precise control over where the Vaus is, the Vaus being the name for their paddle, which is also a spaceship. When the ball gets up to high speed, you pretty much have to have that kind of precision. The Famicom game allows for digital control using the classic gamepads, but the game also came packaged with an Arkanoid controller. It's not fancy, it doesn't even feel particularly well built, it's just a dial and a fire button. However, it turns this version into an absolutely amazing port. Easily one of the top arcade-to-home conversions on the system. The whole game's here, and it's really hard to tell the difference between this and the arcade version. When you start the game, the stages are simple enough. There's some bricks, you hit them, and they go away. Later on, the game adds in gold bricks, which can't be destroyed, and the level layouts start requiring some more tricky shots to get. I actually think that's one of the bigger weaknesses in Arkanoid. When some of the stages only have a few bricks, but you have to get a very precise shot to get those bricks, it winds up being more frustrating than fun. But with the 33 stages in Arkanoid, there's enough variety that it won't slow you down. When you destroy a brick, a capsule may drop out of it. You have to catch that capsule to activate it, and naturally you don't want to miss the ball as you're doing that. The power-ups that you're going to encounter are slow. Naturally that slows the ball down, and you can collect multiple ones and really drag that ball to a halt. The ball speeds up as it strikes surfaces, and being able to reset that speed with the slow is really helpful. I'm assured that the D on this light blue one stands for disruption, but I prefer to think of it as divide. It's almost the counterpart to slow. The ball splits into 3, and that lets it break up bricks pretty quickly, but you're also striking surfaces 3 times as often, and that can make the ball go fast. It makes this one very situational. Dividing while the ball is in a cramped area is great. Dividing when the ball is already going at high speed is bad. The dark blue with the E is elongate. That one just stretches your paddle. A little bit useful, but not a top-tier item. The light green with the C is catch. The ball stops at your paddle when it strikes it, and then launches again when you hit the fire button, or if you wait too long. What direction the ball goes after rebounding on your paddle depends on where it strikes. That makes catch really useful for setting up some difficult shots. The red capsule with L is for laser. It's a fantastic power-up, but one that's likely to get you into trouble. With it, you can press the fire button to shoot a laser, and that laser works just like the ball when it strikes a brick. It can be a little bit tricky to fire away and stay underneath the ball. The real advantage of laser is breaking up large clusters of silver blocks. They require several hits to take out, and the laser is perfect for dealing that. You're also going to run into stages where the laser is totally useless because gold bricks block everything. The gray capsule with the P is an extra life. Finally, the pink capsule with the B, I'm told stands for break. It opens a door on the side of the arena that lets you end the stage early. One tip about the capsules: they always appear from the same bricks. You can use that to your advantage if you're hunting for a power-up. Really quickly, the enemies don't do a whole lot in this game. They mainly serve to get in the way and deflect the ball from a path. I find them to be helpful in redirecting the ball about as often as they hurt me. There's two useful cheat codes in Arkanoid. The first is the continue code. When you get a game over, on the first player controller hold down A and B and press select 5 times before pressing start. The other trick is the level skip. When a round starts, and before you launch the ball, hold down A and press start. That will end that level immediately and take you to the next one. But it's only good up to level 16. I have one negative thing to say about Arkanoid, and it's a biggie. It's not the best paddle game on the Famicom. And that's because Arkanoid 2 was released on the Famicom. There's one more weird thing about Arkanoid. It's the first Taito game without a number on the cart. In this case, though, Taito numbered the box. I wanted to end 1986 on a high note, and this is one of the highest. This is one of the best action games we've seen on the Famicom so far, and I just think it's a delight to play. Well, just as long as you have the special controller.